So now, enough business talk, enough geek talk.
Okay.
But this was great. I want to know now, get to know you a little bit. So
All right.
this is my favorite part. Obviously, you are very good with this kind of stuff. So growing up, so first of all, are you the only child or you have other brothers, sisters?
No, I have an older sister as well.
You have an older sister. So you are the younger one, the
Yes.
luckier one.
I
So
don't know.
well, you cannot defend. You know, the younger ones, they always have it easy. Always have it. The older ones have to fight the fights, and then the younger ones come along and benefit from it. So is she also like you, good at technical stuff?
Well, it's interesting. She's actually she's very analytical and she's also very good at this kind of technical stuff. But funnily enough, this whole technical part, analytical part came much later in my life. If I have to be honest, I was the creative kid. So I used to, when I was little, I used to create like a whole fashion line out of plastic bags, and I would like create like little pots out of clay that I found on the street, or I was obsessed with photography, or I was writing poetry or fairy tales. I was really, really creative. And I was really struggling with math at school. Oh my God. It was just, oh, I just couldn't. I mean, I had to, because, that was the brief. My parents said, you can do whatever you want, but math has to be good. And so I worked really hard to get good at maths. But I never was particularly like analytical. I always excelled in art and in literature and all of that. And then I picked to study a very hardcore finance, accounting, and management degree, which, ask me why. I got really good at analytics. And then after that, my first job was sort of focused on analysis, like in a kind of a different context. And so over time, I kind of developed that acumen and that very geeky side of me, but I wasn't born with it.
So, but looking back at, because I had a former Amazonian on the show, and she came from an entrepreneurial family. Everybody in the family was an entrepreneur. They had family business and everything. So, but she resisted. She fought against it. And years later, she's running her own business and loving it. So the point is, very early in her life, she had signs that she was good at it. So you may not have pursued it, but now looking back at your, childhood, some of the things that you did, some of the things that you became interested in, they must be similar to what you do today. Can you think of anything?
No, but I was very determined to be good at things. In my family, we're all like very, how can I say? If you're into astrology, we're all Aries, which should tell you that we're all very stubborn and very determined to like, get good, impatient, and yeah, very, very determined in one direction. And so I always was like that about anything. So I would, um, can you hear me? And so yeah, everyone in my family, apart from my mom, who is a saint that deals with all of us. But yeah, we're all very stubborn and very determined to get good at something, and also very impatient. I think that's another feature that has been kind of a hope and a hinder. Like I get very impatient when learning about something, and so I need to like learn it very quickly. And so whatever it was, I would just kind of zoom in. And so I think there wasn't anything particularly analytical when I was a child. Again, everybody in my family thought that I'm a very dreamy child. But later on, I had these challenges that I had to deal with, which were of analysis. And I was like, okay, well, let's get on with it. And so I got good at it.
So this being driven and determined, is that like a family trait, or everybody is like that?
Well, I think it definitely comes off from my dad, who is probably the most, he's a, like a, how can I say, a force of nature. He is the unstoppable man. Like he can build, I don't know, I think he can build like a Chinese wall if he wanted to. So I think it definitely runs in our veins from him. And yeah, I think it's definitely something that we've been nurtured in.
So